What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today is Sunday, February 27th, 2011, and I just saw the Game Dude's video on how human evolution is flawed. Now, before I get into why I pretty much disagree with all of his video, I'm going to explain my story of how I started up Review Tech USA, and I'll explain why it ties into the Game Dude's video. So I got laid off from IBM in 2009. And I had to move back home. I had to move back in with my family. It's a story that's a dime a dozen where I am. There's a lot of people my age who are in the same position. The economy in the United States still sucks. So I made a choice. There were two choices I could have made. I could have sat on my ass and bitched about it and said how much life sucks, or I chose to utilize the time and I started up Review Tech USA. Well, at the time it was RLM Audio, but it was the seed that was planted became Review Tech USA, I should say. And a lot of people thought I was nuts. A lot of people didn't get it. You know, you still play video games, even though they're the same people that played Farmville. And, you know, to me, it's like, okay, you're sitting there playing with pink fucking cows, you know. But, you know, God forbid I pick up a controller and play Killzone, but that's besides the point. And it was interesting in the beginning. I got a lot of positive feedback, got an equal amount of negative feedback. And what annoyed me even more so is there was people they were acquaintances I barely knew who put their 2 cents in about it. Perfect example is a former boss of mine, and friend, boss/friend. I used to drive into work with the guy every day. I put up a video talking about an SD card they had on sale at a store that it was an insanely low price on Black Friday. You know, at the time, you know, going back 2 years ago, a 16 gigabyte SD card for $20 was a huge deal. It's still cheap today. That's actually still a good price today, just showing you how big of a deal it was back then. And I posted the video on Facebook, and he wrote under the video, "If I was you," and this is an exact quote, I'm not adding anything to it, "If I was you, I would have fucking killed myself 3 years ago. I don't know what you're doing, but you're an idiot." He wrote under the video. And he meant it. He PM'd me later and made sure that I knew he meant it. Now, besides from me wanting to, you know, I wish he would have said it to my face and whatever, I'm not going there. Just e-thugs to me are funny people. They're the same people. He's the same guy who would have wrote that on Facebook. And if he saw me in person, the next day he would have shaken my hand and, you know, tried to talk about the weather with me. Gotta love, you know, human nature could be so fake, but I got a lot of adversity. Because it just didn't make sense to people. And anytime you do anything different, people want to shit on you. It's human nature. Unfortunately, it's the nature of the beast. But I could have, you know, taken those. It didn't even insult me what he said. It was kind of more like, why is this such a big deal to you, man? Why are you losing sleep over something like this? But I took the adversity and I just ignored it. You know, he told me, you're never going to go anywhere with it. And he was wrong. One, I didn't jump off a bridge and kill myself. And two, I'm getting paid to do the reviews now, you know. And I'm not sitting here patting myself on the back. The point being is, in the Game Dude's video, he talks about how he's kind of making it like, actually he isn't kind of, he is. He's making it like no one has only the strongest survive. No one has a choice, you know, the weak are left in the cold. And he goes on about other things, about how his family won't help him, you know, and he does mention towards the end about, you know, you have to be accountable for yourself, but it was really like, you know, the world fucked me over, it's not my fault, and I point my finger at everyone else except me, and I'm so tired of that, man. I'm so tired of people. I have friends, you know, that are in bad financial positions, and I have friends that are very successful, and they chose to be that way. You know, it wasn't that, you know, the Illuminati didn't let them, which he's another one who says, like, you know, everyone is predisposition. No one could be successful unless they sell your soul. Well, then I know a lot of satanic people then, because I know a lot of successful people. And he also goes on to, you know, how we don't care about each other. And yes, there's many selfish people in the world. But let me ask you a question, man. If you have family members that are millionaires, you obviously are a nourished person, and I'm not saying it to be insulting. You're a chubby guy. I'm a fat dude too. You have a roof over your head. Why should someone who's successful, one, beyond the fact that, you need money, if someone has to work hard for their success, why should they just give it out to everybody? I'm not saying be selfish, but you understand what I'm saying? You work hard, so then you're obligated to give to other people. And the thing is, too, that's like someone who, like me calling up Bill Gates, like, hey man, I got laid off from my job, I had to move back home, could you give me 1.5 million? Why should Bill Gates give it to me and not give it to a guy, someone in a third world country? Why not to give it to, a cancer society? Why not give it to a charity that helps cure diseases where people are dying? And you're complaining that, the world is cold and, I would be the brother thrown off the bridge. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I said that wrong. He said he would be, it's always the strongest that survives. Say that all of his family was on a boat and one of the people fell off the boat and no one helped that brother. That's human evolution because he's the weakest one. He wasn't saying himself. He was making an example, obviously referring to himself. The point being to this video is you're a failure if you want to be a failure. Everyone makes mistakes. The economy's tough and things happen. But you can always get up if you wake up in the morning and you have a pulse and you have breath in your lungs and you're breathing. You make a choice. You can either just lay in bed and accept failure and be a failure because you're choosing it, or you can go against the grain and fight people like my boss who told you that you should kill yourself, and fight people who spit negativity. That's life, man. And to say that people are predispositioned to be failures is ridiculous. I know people that were in high school that were the ones that were picked on and bullied, and they ended up making 6 or 7 figures when they left every year. There's a guy who I know from my high school who he wasn't a nerd, but he wasn't really a popular guy, who was one of the people who realized the MP3s were the wave of the future, and now he's a millionaire. Don't blame evolution, man. Don't point fingers at other people for your problems. That's like me, like I said, I'm not perfect, but I take accountability and I wake up every morning and I am determined to be a success, and I will be. If you don't want to be one and point fingers at other people, you will be a failure because you're choosing to be one. It's not evolution, it's you. Have a good one.